Hello, my name's Alex and I am the Director of Studies here at Windsor, and I also trained as an IELTS examiner. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the IELTS exam today. First of all, I'd like to say that there are two different versions of the exam. There's the general and academic versions. They're actually mostly the same, but there are a few differences, so I will point out where those differences are. So the first part of the exam is the listening, this is actually the same for the general and the academic versions. So you will have 40 questions, you'll listen to 4 different recordings, which will take about 30 minutes. And you'll have a mix of monologues and dialogues, which come from general and academic situations. The next part is the reading. This is different for general and academic. In both cases there are 3 parts and you have about 1 hour for the exam, so you should spend about 20 minutes per section. The way that it's different for general and academic is where the texts come from. So for the academic exam it's 3 articles on topics of general interest, whereas for the general exam the final one is a similar kind of article, whereas the first 2 parts come from situations of living, studying or working in an English-speaking country. So it could be the kind of documents you might see if you were doing a job in England or America, for example. The third part is the writing, and again there's a slight difference here for the general and academic. In the general test, the first part you write is a letter. This could be a formal or an informal letter, so maybe a letter to a friend or a letter to the bank. For academic candidates, you will have to describe some data which is presented to you in perhaps a line graph, bar graph, pie chart, table, possibly a process or some maps. The second part of the writing part of the exam is the same for both general and academic. You have to write an essay of more than 250 words on a topic which they provide. And the final part is the speaking test. This lasts between 11 and 14 minutes, and it's the same whether you're doing general or academic. There are 3 parts. In the first part you talk about familiar personal topics such as your hobbies or where you live, whether you work or study. The second part you're given a topic and you have to talk about it for between 1 and 2 minutes. Naturally it's better to try and talk for the 2 minutes if you can. And then finally you get some more questions which are based on the topic that you've just spoken about, but they are more discussion questions. So it's more about asking for your opinion or ideas about how something has changed and will change in the future. So in total all of that comes to about 11 to 14 minutes, usually closer to the 14-minute side. And that's the whole exam.